Yeah, and it's again another Stonebank hero. And this is where you feel the last pick, because now DogChamp, they're gonna pick Bloody Nine's hero right here. And then, well, you're going to see the offlaner. And if 5 Men might just get too greedy with it, this is where you can't pick the Night Stalker too early. There's still a Monkey King in the pool. He will still ruin you. And then it's Stonebank farming with a huge lane advantage, with Italian Gangster running around and being a madman. It's where 5 Men Midas need to tread carefully here. I feel like honestly, they almost need to pick up like a Viper or something come this next phase, just so that way they have some safety and they win a lane, which is something that 5 Men Midas has not really successfully done very consistently. But that's where I think right now, Bloody Nine's just thinking, which five do I want to play? If they're not picking a five here, they could rush the carry pick. I still think that Faceless Void in this current position is pretty nice, just because you already have the Death Prophet who's going to be low on lockdown, so just getting another big team fighter makes a lot of sense here. But I can also see them wanting to maybe not give them too much, and it does free up a lot of those heroes. And there's the Silencer. Okay, I'm happy. A little bit weak versus Marcy, just because she can actually close that gap on you before you can get the Arcane Curse harass going. But that hero's also ridiculous. And versus Rubik, well, you never need to worry about him really stealing global because Rubik's silenced. And if you have to buy Yules for yourself, it's just where Rubik doesn't help anymore. The global silence is just an effective, very, very effective tool. You don't buy BKB, you don't buy Yules. It's one of those circumstances where like Lotus Orb is the best option, but that is way, way, way down the line.
Yeah, that's going to be out of the price range for Moonlight unless this game goes pretty late. So we'll have to see. And now it's a pretty solid move here from DogChamp. You take the Silencer in the exact position where 5 Man are looking for at least 2, but potentially even 3 straight core selections. So you see them take the Lycan because they now have to start building around cores ET that are capable of either fighting without their ults or getting them off quickly enough where they're not canceled.
Mm-hmm. And that's where I do really like the Lycan pickup, and the Silencer only made it a better game. Of course, this is going to be a difficult Lycan lane. There's going to be a lot of creep pulling, I think, ahead here for Wise. It's one of those situations where I think you are just a very slow melee hero, now playing versus even more slows, and they just go for the
Okay.
Pango as well. Now, do they just pick Bloodseeker? That is the question. Stonebank,
Yeah.
what'll it be? Because there's a Lycan, there's a Pango. There is that funny situation where there are too many heroes to rupture right now. But if you want to, that's your brain dead pick.
Hmm.
And there you go. Because they ran out of bans and they decided to pretty much all in here on this opening or the second phase of bans. And of course, there is the unique problem where you do have to choose the more effective one in the team fight to actually take out. And depending on whether or not the Lycan is too big or the Pango's too big, you do have a difficult decision to make. But if Stonebank can make the decision, well, then one of your heroes is locked out of the game. And of course, Stonebank's ever able to get 25, well, he solves his own problem by just rupturing 2 people instead. But
Right.
again, it's free. It's a good option. It's why they go for it for here for Stonebank. And again, it's an even more difficult lane now for Wise because a lot of those creeps are probably going to get denied now. It's where that creep cut, you got to go for it.
And it's a nice problem to have if you're DogChamp. Instead of your carry thinking, how do I shut down these cores, all you have to think is which one is the bigger threat right now. So much rather have that question versus the previous one of, oh shit, what do I do? Right? So Stonebank should farm up safely in, well, in the lane mostly, but then that jungle farm, I'm not really sure if 5 Man Midas are going to be able to go looking for him. Maybe the Lycan can do some scouting with the wolves, but we'll have to wait and see what this final pick from the 5 Man side is in terms of actually having the damage to go hunting for him.
Yeah, and they split the bands, and that's an insta pick
Ooh,
of the Lone Druid.
okay.
Cool. I'm down for this. I feel like lane might be a little bit difficult versus the DP, and that's another really fast
Oh
pick. And
god.
there's the RCY Tinker. I was thinking, I was running the numbers in my head. I was like, do you really want to play Tinker versus Pango? Is that going to be annoying? Is that going to be fine for you? RCY doesn't even let us make that decision, but combined with Bloodseeker as well, Stonebank's going to be a race car. Anybody drops too low, RCY is going to have the vision to trike them down pretty much to the ends of the earth. And there is a lone druid, so you do have to be scared of, I think, that 15-minute timing. You get Axe Shard, you get the Mask of Madness, you probably get only a Blightstone at that point, but you're still quite a threat on the map. But aside from that, this is a very free Tinker game. It's really just maybe the lift from Moonlight and then hoping that RL can close the gap onto him, but we've also just seen RCY take the game into his own hands and then just kind of beat you across with it. And the rest of your lineup is still countered out by that Bloodseeker. So even though the LD might be an interesting pickup, it might be something that Arceus should just kind of lane with. We'll have to see how effective he is because you also are playing just versus Tinker, versus Blinding Light, versus all of the mischance. Those lasers are going to be very annoying if 5ManMidas are ever in a position to threaten the high ground. I don't know how threatening it's going to be, but again, we'll have to see. Not even talking about Italiana Gangster, who again is just going to run around like a madman this game. He's just going to do
Yeah.
his own thing on Death Prophet, making space for the rest of his cores. But okay, DogChamp, this is a very greedy lineup, but we'll have to see if it works out. And 5ManMidas, will they get their first win?
I will say one thing. Relative to their opponents, I feel like this is the most confident I've been in a 5-man Midas draft so far, which still might not be enough to actually, do anything here, but it feels like they have more of a solid plan than they have previously.
No, they definitely do. And I do like, again, a lot of the heroes that they picked up. It's just kind of an adverse effect of having first pick, where that second phase is brutal. And it's why you usually don't see the double support pickup, because that double core does just kind of get countered. But, don't even want to think about it. 5ManMidas have been getting better and better as this tournament has gone on, to be honest. Their games have been steadily increasing in duration, which shows that they aren't just giving up in a lot of these games that have felt like just losses, but they have been playing them out at least till the bitter end. And that's where there is a lot to play for in this game. And of course, not only playing for their survival in this tournament, but maybe playing to take down DogChamp with them, dragging them to that lower bracket as maybe a last-ditch effort here, because it is a difficult path for 5ManMidas to survive elimination.
Hmm. So I just realized something. It's not relevant, but I saw it, so I'm going to talk about it. This OBS ward, um, the focal point of the model is the eye, not the stem. So it was jumping up and down, just doing an idle animation, and RCY's right clicks actually were following it up and down. So I don't know. Most wards, the whole thing is just one model, so that's never really relevant. But just looked a little weird to see his right clicks changing altitude. But weirder than that is what Yarn was trying to do here, as he does get himself into some serious trouble in the river, and feeling gets one last kick to the backside to pick up first blood.
No, definitely works out for him. We'll have to see. Probably just finds another set of tangos. Can't buy the boots immediately, but feeling can be very annoying in this lane. And we gotta see what Argus is able to do on his lone druid here. A hero that, again, it's been a while. Not many teams have been picking it up, but I was very excited to see it in at least the patch notes, seeing it get what I think should be more popular than it currently is. But and maybe once TI rolls around, people will realize that this hero is a little wild.
This is what happens when we don't have Gunner in one of these, man. Nobody else is picking lone druids, so well, Argus is able to step into those shoes, at least in terms of the hero pick. Let's not make too many comparisons between him and Gunner at the moment, because it doesn't seem entirely fair, but just farming up best as he can. Feeling, meanwhile, I don't know. He is going to look for opportunities where he can find them, but how much can you really do here? Neither Yaren nor Italiano are heroes that are going to get quickly punished by the bear, so feels like Feeling is really only going to have plays like this, just trying to sort of go for the pulls instead of being aggressive.
Yeah, no, it's where you do have to be very careful, especially once Yarn gets a little bit more XP. You can feed very easily in this lane, but aside from that, you should be kind of slow worked about it as almost a solo kill in the mid lane, but not able to keep the body blocks enough. But I do wonder if we're just going to see kind of the bog standard here from the RCY. Just be annoying, cross the ping as much as you can. Definitely some kill potential when supports get involved, but until then, should be a very annoying, boring lane for RRL.
Pushed back a little bit here, but just in time for his bottle to be delivered, and he needs to heal up too, because the thirst bonuses going over to Stonebank are not appreciated by Lies and Moonlight, so just sort of get out of that danger zone. It's only 1 point in the Thirst right now, but Stonebank's already tough to lane against. You don't really need to make it any harder for yourself by having your teammates dropped low elsewhere, although, speaking of dropping low, Yaren, well, I said he wasn't really in a position to get all that punished, but rebound into Dispose, and the Bear does do a little bit of damage to help out, and that's 2 kills now for the Marcy.
Just a little bit too far forward. Same punish as well. Not able to make anything onto Italian Gangster, but that's just kind of a virtue of the Death Prophet being so far back in the lane and having pretty fantastic attack range. But yeah, feeling he's doing a great job. Even tosses Yarn out from the small camp, so that actually gets to spawn up. Just doing a good job right now. And again, he's the one that's going to get aggressive on that mid lane, if anyone. It's where Marcy still is very good at crossing the river just before you can really even react or realize she's missing outside of the lanes. But we'll see.
Full pull off there on that camp, so just keeping it pulled back as best as it can, and that is going to kind of matter for Argius because he is a little further up than I think he would like to be. Not a whole lot of threat that the Bear goes down, but if he's that far up, Yarn could sneak behind him, and I was going to say go for the toss play, maybe throw him under tower. He actually has no point in toss yet, but you know, you assume he's going to hit level 3 relatively soon, is feeling. Did get the rebound, but by that point the Bear's already just kind of shoving off.
Yeah, just kind of walks away. And honestly, it's a hero that I even don't know all too much about because Lone Druid is still in kind of a niche of its own, but power spike wise.
RCY's in some trouble.
Oh yeah, and that's the support
Body
rotation,
block.
the body blocks.
Yarn comes in though, that forces the telekinesis, and that keeps RCY in the fight. Nicely done by Moonlight.
And they're fighting, and okay,
Get it?
one more punch. Oh, he's so close.
Swashbuckles
Nice swash.
to the river. And now he really wishes that he was level 3, just so he had something else to work with, because now Yarn's going to die. Moonlight's just going to take that himself. It's a double kill for your Rubik.
No, very nice start for DogChamp to this game, and of course, Stonebank is pulling further and further away last hit-wise just because of all of this chaos going down in every other lane. But no, you have to do this versus the Tinker. You have to slow him down. Because once he gets level 6, well, then he's just going to start spamming out your mid laner, and then he doesn't want to be in that lane. Maybe once he has raindrops, he can stick around for just a little bit longer, but that's where the obnoxious part of Tinker starts to begin. But we'll have to see if anybody else starts to, or tries to slow him down, because you have given the side lane cores a big advantage. Both Stonebank and Italiano Gangster have not really been put under any pressure just yet.
Italiano.
Yeah.
Here's your pressure. He is forced back, but they can't actually get him, so there's a little bit of good fortune for DogChamp.
Well, able to escape. Of course, the Siphon. Much longer cooldown, though, so if they go again and find enough mana, then that could be a pretty free kill, but have to watch Yaren. Yep, there you go.
Okay.
Nice.
Not gonna miss it that time. And Yaren, okay, dispose
Root.
into the root. You should go down too. Argius picks up a double. There was finally a kill going DogChamp's way elsewhere on the map as Stonebank was able to get the kill onto Liza with the help of B9, but 1 kill to your Bloodseeker in exchange for 2 going into the hands of the Lone Druid. It's not the favorable trade that DogChamp won, and 5ManMidas. This is a very strong start for them. One of the strongest that we've seen.
No, and back it again. Lies taking so much damage. All the way run back to the tower. At least he has that Helm of Iron Will, so he'll be a little bit okay, but no, this lane is pretty awful, as well as always having to TP back to the Bloodseeker lane is a huge risk, because of course, as soon as Stomach has Rupture, well, then you can't TP out, and you just die.
Garen uses his vision there to just dance around the tree, so Moonlight, I don't think he ever saw him, but now they know Moonlight's coming back to lane, so they had their opening to put some pressure onto Lies. They killed him once, they pushed him back a second time, but don't necessarily want to play too far up now on the Bloodseeker if the Rubik is returning, although, I don't know, B9 is waiting for his courier. That's not his courier, that's the Tiny's courier, so he's just stacking. This is a weird camp to actually stack up, but he's gonna go for it. Huh. Okay, why not? Doesn't matter which camp you stack, I suppose, at the end of the day, as long as they are stacked.
Yeah, just trying to give maybe Stonebank another opportunity to farm up, but also he doesn't need any help winning his lane right now. 51-26. I mean, the Bloodseeker lane speaks for itself.
Yaren gets himself a little spotted out here. There's a DDRRL who's very interested in the kill, but he's not going to get it. Moonlight kind of steals it from him. But they find the pick. But now if you're Moonlight, this gold is nice, but you also need to be careful of the way you're playing. Can't be too sacrificial because you are going to give over a little extra gold for the killing spree. So it's going to make him maybe a little bit more cautious. It's kind of...
But RCY, he's level 7. Got max level laser. All the supports are mid though, and oh, Yaren. Well, he
Tinker's coming back in,
go
though.
for it.
Italiano Gangster making his way over as well. This fight's very strange. Moonlight, well, he tries to buy a little bit of time, and that distraction may get them out of here. RRL has the swashbuckle. He's going to stop for the illusion rune first, so maximum efficiency, and everybody walks away.
It's very peculiar that Italiano Gangster leaves his lane. Maybe it's just feeling unsafe there without the tiny, but it does feel odd to see a level 5 Death Prophet show up mid. But again, just making sure they have enough bodies to put themselves in between RCY, but Smoked Feeling, gonna go for it. Another batch of spells in 1 second here.
But look at that
nice
avalanche.
Ava.
Buying time. Toss comes out as well, so RRL can't finish the kill. Destroyer's going to turn around, go for the laser. That gets the kill onto the Pango, and now
the hiding.
He's in the trees. Feeling can't actually get to him. Feeling will die to the tower. Oh, DogChamp just straight up ran circles around him on that one. Did he
just
form that tree himself, or?
He might have actually just closed himself off, which, you know, makes RCY seem like even more of a player, but also just that swash did no damage, and you wonder why, and it's because it's only level 2. He opted for more points in the shield crash because, of course, if you get lasered, then your swashbuckle does no damage, but he didn't even get it off. Just feels weird. And now bottom, oh, the tiny, they're showing, unless they TP everybody back down here, and they've already showed the Pango TP mid. Free kill onto the Lycan. Just showing a few too many heroes at once, even though the supports are gunning for a kill onto Italiano in the top lane, and looks like they might actually just get it. I think he's a little bit too far forward here. Should be the punish, but they're also scared.
The Exo, though.
Yeah.
And the glyph
comes out. Might just deny the tower now, and Italiano doesn't have any good place to use this exorcism, so he might just run into a large camp or something, but okay. A little bit of the sacking of the offlaners, but also RCY smoked up, just killed a huge ancient stack that 5ManMidas were also very interested in, but Italiano just became the bigger target and kind of body blocked that gank.
Yep. Forced all their attention onto him, denied the tower, didn't give himself up. And you put Exo on cooldown. That's a little unfortunate, but as you said, they are kind of sacrificing the DP's lane a little bit, but I would like to put sacrificing in a big old pair of air quotes, ET, because he's still far above 2 of the 3 cores on the 5ManMidas side in terms of net worth. So if this is what sacrificing him looks like, there's a lot of offlaners who would sign up for that.
You know, he's doing pretty all right for himself. And bottom, well, RL just got scouted out. Arcane Rune here, and they're going to use the shapeshift, just trying to get onto the tiny. Tiny doesn't have to grow. Oh, yeah, they're all here.
Silence. They're going to turn. They got the rupture down, so that forces RL to TP, and he should make it. Can they get anything else? Moonlight, hit by the missile. Stonebank is just going to race car his way forward. And not getting the kill just yet. Telekinesis going to help out, but here comes another missile, and that will finish the job. So at the end of all of that, that really is still just a 1-for-1. Lies sent the creeps in and just kind of tracked down a kill onto Yaren, so for 5ManMidas, I think, honestly, you're okay with that. Shapeshift down is a bit of a bummer, but Global Silence was used. The 4 heroes made their way bot, and you only lose the 1 support.
Yeah, and they do just immediately show back bottom. But they're trying to get these towers down, and they will start putting a lot of pressure. Pressure that Stonebank cannot really deal with. Don't think you want to put Destroyer in that situation either, so we should see the trade come out from both sides. You do have Exorcism up in 20 seconds, so you can only imagine that Italiano is going to look for a tier 1 to cast his ultimate on, but we'll have to see. Definitely feels like he's struggling, again, a little bit. Maybe not in net worth, but in finding where his next play is, but that's where he does still have quite a lot of a game and quite a lot of levels, but RL walks into him. Last word. Yep.
Okay.
Has to roll away, but defensive
that's awkward.
roll.
Where are you going, bud? Gonna hit him
Okay,
up with
got
the
20
rupture.
stick, but dead.
Just misjudges the angle, and I think clips there onto the side, and
Yep.
well, if he makes it through the uprights there safe and sound, then he should get away. Instead, it's a very rough kill to give up.
Yeah, just kind of bumper cars, gives more gold over to Destroyer as he gets the last hit, but also just AoE gold for the rest of the lineup, just kind of being near that engagement. But that's where Arceus is farming a whole bunch on this lone druid. He almost has his full deso. He is very farmed. He has had a great start to this game. It's just a matter of whether or not I think he can really get onto a lot of these towers to really, again, get this game started for his team, because he's got a great start. It's just a matter of whether or not the rest of the lineup can kind of enable him at this point, because he's got a lot of damage to play with, especially sidekick, and there is a level 6 Marcy looking top for the kill with Moonlight, but we'll see if it works out. But even Moonlight himself, he's got max level Crypt Swarm. I feel like we're going to be in a pretty close tie, honestly, when it comes to who defends their towers better. There's just so much wave clear across the board. I really don't know how you ever push in and approach these creep waves, because simply versus Rubik, with Crypt Swarm at least, they just die.
B9 getting some vision down, sees a very angry bear, time to go, but the rebound actually doesn't hit onto him, so he's going to pop the global, try to turn. He's still rooted, so he might still go down here, but well, Feeling is going to actually pull him back in anyway to make sure, but that just means they trade each other out. Stonebank wants some sort of fight here. The Rupture's going to go down. Moonlight has to TP away. Can they cancel it? No, they can't. So Moonlight actually manages to escape. Arceus walks away, and well, another one-for-one trade on the support CT, but you're seeing the damage, the scale of these fights kind of starting to increase bit by bit.
They're starting to get more and more costly, and of course, during that entire time, so much attention top. Wise, who's just anchoring down his lane, finally gets some recovery time. The Lycan gets to start doing his job, keeping these lanes in, keeping pressure up. And Arceus, well, he walks back top and he finds a Yaren, but they're actually bringing heroes here, trying to maybe deny the tower or at least get a punish on the heroes. And I think Yaren, oh, another missed rebound, but the dispose should be Yaren's death here, especially with RRL coming over.
Moonlight able to secure the kill there with the stolen blood, right? So they find a pick. It does still cost them their tower, but they're able to make some sort of move in this circumstance. And now they're grouped up quite nicely here. They're eyeing the Roche pit. They do have the Deso up now on the bear, so with that armor reduction and damage, they're giving it a go. The scan did come through from DogChamp, though, so they know this is happening, but who can get over here in time, and what do they have to fight with? There's no global. There's no EXO. They'd have to bring RCY, basically. And, well, before they get the chance, they're going to get ambushed. There's the Bloodright silencing up too. Yarn, though, with the Avalanche is going to reset the fight, but Lies now comes in. Shapeshift active. B9 already dead. Italiano Gangster goes down as well, and RCY, he has showed up. He's here. But I don't know how much he can really do. Stonebank, meanwhile, going to put a Bloodright in the pit, and, well, maybe they can slow this down, but the bear is not giving up. Arceus just sends it in, and DogChamp, do you really want to take a risk at this point, or do they just have to let it go?
I think they just let it go. If they had the Shiva's Guard on the Tinker, then maybe I could see them going for a defense, but it's just a little bit too fast, and Arceus is a little too farmed, so it is pretty free. They even give the Aegis over to RRL, just because he's still having a pretty difficult game. Now, if he gets ruptured, though, in a team fight, he can just kill himself, come back, not ruptured anymore, and then goes for a Rolling Thunder. I honestly feel like that is a true option for him in this game, but we'll have to see, because you just got level 12 on Tinker. This is where you do start to go even faster. You start to farm very quickly, and again, Shield's Guard is almost picked up, so RCY will become a monster when it comes to pushing in these lanes. He is already starting to ramp.
He's looking a little bit dangerous at the same time for Stonebank. Well, BKB, not quite finished off, but he's closing in on that too. So, item-wise, the power spike is coming. Meanwhile, Italiano, what's he working towards? He's looking for a BKB of his own. His progress is a little bit slower, but it's going to be coming along in the near future as well.
Oh, in, okay. Jump in the mid lane. B9's here, though. Yeah, spoils all their spells. The Silencer, such an obnoxious hero. Now, Moonlight, well, there you go.
Yep.
You step up just a little bit too far. It's nighttime. They've got great wards down placed in the mid lane, and that'll happen. But here we go. LD in on the tower. They just saw the Tinker TP bottom, so this is a free tier 1. They do glyph, but don't think there's any way DogChamp defend it now.
Just gonna kind of let this go. They throw a curse out onto the creep wave. Whatever. Not enough to slow it down. Argus gets the tower, and now... Well, they're starting to move their way down bot, but I highly doubt RCY is really going to stay here long term. Yeah. He's going to blink into the trees, TP himself away, and he should be just fine.
He's able to escape, and, well, let's see what's going on here.
They...
Trying to get onto waves, but...
Feeling's got a nice little Tinker Ward getting set up here, so they know what's going to happen, and they know how they need to try and cancel it out, but that is the AC finished off. That's the BKB for the Bloodseeker now online. On the 5ManMidas side, oh, what do they got? Lies has his Helm of the Overlord. That is a actually very nice pickup for him, so they're going to be able to do quite a lot with that, but the fight is breaking out whether they want it to or not. RRL just got hit up here. That is the first life being taken away. But the Bear's going to come in. Italiano just popped his ult here, and he just gave up the ult, so the Rubik's now going to pop his own, and yeah, I don't think you want to be here anymore if you're DogChamp. Time to back away, but Tinker going to get spotted. Can they cancel his TP? Yes, they can. He's trapped in the fight, and he's going to go down.
Yeah, just the ward paying off, and man, I need to play more Rubik. I've never seen this with the Arcana. They're just cubes.
Yeah.
They're cube spirits. That's actually phenomenal. That's so good.
Rubik Arcana, man. It's something special.
But no, this is a huge timing, and now they could honestly... Okay, they could have hit the tier 3 maybe a bit, but still being very respectful of Yaren. Scared of the toss back. That is a good way to go down here, but at least they were able to use their Aegis. Now, the question for 5ManMidas, they've got great wards, they've got great high ground vision. Can they hold the vision is the next question. Their opponents are pretty beaten down. It's when B9 starts to get back out onto the map. You need to make sure that you either kill him or you're in a position to contest, because otherwise, well, you start to lose control. You start to get that creep waves pushed in to where Destroyer becomes more problematic. He can't go bottom because of that Tinker Ward now, or at least he shouldn't try to anymore, but that's where by playing in the other two lanes, eventually you'll leave bottom. You just need to make sure someone strong enough to hold the vision is still stuck around there. Probably just Argius, but even then, got to make sure you get those kills.
Oh. Pause comes out here. Not sure on the reason just yet, but, well, probably won't see the admin ask any questions unless this goes on for a little bit longer. So hopefully just a quick pause and we can get back into the swing of things, but DogChamp not exactly reeling, right? That's probably trying to over-exaggerate a little bit there, but they are now on the defensive in terms of the level of map control and the momentum in this game. So to try and make something happen here, I'd have to try and take this next teamfight a little bit more coordinated as well, because the only reason RCY dies there is because he's basically on one half of the fight and the rest of his team was on the other.
It just ended up being extremely split. Didn't work out too much in their favor, but that's also the risk, because of course that Lycan pick was in response to 3 of those heroes on DogChamp's side, and the shapeshift is very annoying to deal with. That's where again, low top. Okay. He just escapes. He blinks out. He got really close to that high ground ward, which is why they go for the roll so long distance, but then RCY just leaves. Okay.
Bit of a weird one, but he does manage to get away. Meanwhile, Moonlight, what'd he take? Got last word. Okay. A little bit more to work with on that front. But checking in on the itemization here, that is the BKB up on Italiano Gangster now, so he has had to sort of slow down his progression with more prioritization going to the other 2 cores, but pop BKB, pop Exo, he's into the middle of those fights, and there's not a whole lot 5Man can do to stop him other than just physically beating him down as quickly as they can.
Oh, and that's where Smoke Up, they're looking for eyes onto that Pango early on, even though they know he doesn't have the role right now, but that would be your ideal target. Also would just get a free kill onto Lies, but they're kind of missing. They're not reading very well where 5ManMidas actually are right now. They smoke too far away from the actual triangle to, I think, breach and look for it. And well, they'll take the freebie onto feeling, but still, that's a cheap 5-position support. Silence almost gets to Argus in time, or maybe that Savage Roar comes through and that kill gets a little bit more complicated, but is unable to make it happen. And now looking over at mid, Rubik steals Crypt Swarm. He's going to nuke out that wave, and then his tower defense is still very difficult to make, but Moonlight will kill the wave. There's nothing they can look for after except for his life, and, well...
Oh. That kind of sucks a little bit there. He only had 2 targets, and unfortunately for Yarn, he loses that 50-50. That would have been a pretty much guaranteed kill if they get the toss back too, so Moonlight very lucky at this point. Count his blessings, but now in the jungle, Arceus is here, feeling TP'd onto the outpost, so they might actually look for something. Moonlight goes in, there's the lift, they're going to catch Yarn out, they've got him stunned up. He does get the avalanche off, though. Italiano Gangster, he's already lost so much of his HP, he is trying to heal up with the siphons, but it's just not enough. They burn through him, even with BKB on.
No, the physical damage, it's way too difficult to deal with. It's where he really has become that sack core that sometimes we see Death Prophets become, but he's a sack core, but he's also been taking quite a bit of farm away from Stonebank. And of course, Tinker's gonna get the farm. Silencer,
okay.
Yeah, you're just gonna go down. And Stonebank shows himself for a second, but needs to be careful. He gets clipped by a rebound. He's gonna have to pop his BKB. And Rupture will land onto Arceus, but buyback.
Oh my god, look at all the TPs. They want the fight. Arceus, though, he's just TPing out.
And he lives.
No, they're going to clean up the supports, yeah. At least they get something out of that. Can they cancel this TP from Lies? No. Okay, that's a couple of kills. Tier 2 tower stays safe. B9, okay, B9 had to buy back, but he's already the lowest net worth hero in the game, so I don't think you care too much about slowing down his progression. DogChamp just feels like they need more. 2 support kills is nice, but you need to get pressure onto these cores. The Lone Druid in particular, right? That was a situation where Arceus was genuinely feeling like he was in trouble, but he still just TP'd away and really didn't suffer any consequences.
Yeah, it's where somebody, you know, buy Yule's Scepter or something. Do we have to wait for Stonebank's Basher? You know, it's just very difficult. But Stonebank is also really struggling versus the Lone Druid. It's where the Bloodseeker does not match well nicely into the LD. And for the tier 2s, you might be able to defend high ground with this Tinker, but you're just still a little bit too far out. And I think the reason they buy back on B9, he tries to get a global, but doesn't work out as okay. Pick off Moonlight again here. Just playing around the vision, but Stonebank needs quite a few more items before he's actually able to go up versus Arceus here. Or they need to switch targets, where you do have that difficult decision between going for the bear or going for the druid, and they just can't beat the bear right now.
That's a BKB picked up by the Marcy, so it's starting to happen. Every time we get into that sort of mid to late game stage, your Marcy kind of shrugs off that support mantle and starts turning into a core. BKB and a Basher is all she would need, but now Arceus, okay. They hit him up with a Rupture. This time he can't just TP away. And they lock him down. Big first kill. B9 is going to be sacrificed in exchange. But DogChamp, can they win this fight? They still need to deal with these heroes, but the BKB wears off on the Bloodseeker. Somebody's got to get in there to help him, but nobody's in position. Yarn's too late on the Avalanche, but RCY has arrived. He's going to throw out the missiles, hitting from the high ground, just absolutely tearing through heroes as he grabs the double. Italiano Gangster cleans up one more, and they've got eyes on Moonlight. Yarn may have to die for this. Oh, no, okay. There's the Ava, there's the toss. They take the Black Dragon out too, and Yarn actually does get to live. DogChamp, that's the fight that they've been looking for all game long. They finally get it.
No, dude, it just is a terrible way for that fight to break out. They lose the LD so early on, and you say, oh, they didn't rupture the Lycan or the Pango. This is our time to shine, which is why they push in. But then they don't get enough damage onto Italiano Gangster. If they spend too much of the Rolling Thunder still bouncing in between BKBs, and then, well, Tinker and Death Prophet just take the fight. And sure, you trade out with the Bloodseeker, but he's happy with that. You weren't able to kill either of the supports. You weren't able to burst down the Death Prophet either. And now so much farming time allotted to DogChamp to finish up those next batch of items. Not to mention, RCY now has a BKB, so if he wants to just stick his head in a team fight and sit there and look at you, he can for 9 seconds. He's ready to actually battle, and Avatos Do they get him? Oh, he's so dead.
RL just gets blown up instantly. So 45 seconds on the sideline for the Pango, who is still struggling to sort of get these items picked up. He's looking for a Lincoln's. It's not going to be a bad pickup at all, but not going to get it anytime in the immediate future. And Roche is back up, ET, so well, they're looking for the fight rather than Roche itself. Yarn does try to push in, but there's going to be that rupture. It's deployed onto Argus. Argus has to just stand and fight. He's not going to win this fight, though. Maybe he is. Oh my god, with feeling in there with the Unleash, they actually just get through him. Argus will eventually fall, but now here comes RCY again, just cleaning up the fight, saying, I've got this. Ultra kill from the Tinker. Rest easy, Stonebank. Your teammate's just going to handle business.
Yep, just kind of let the Tinker take the wheel. He gets bashed too, and it's actually was super hard to see him in that fight because he's just, the bear is standing over him, so his health bar disappears, and then he just dies. But again, it doesn't matter. Our RCY is now top of the net worth. He got his 20 as well. Didn't get the Defense Matrix CDR this time around, though. But now that he has that super fast TP on Keen Conveyance, he's going to be everywhere and anywhere he needs to be. And we are at Tinker Critical Mass. Is going to be 25. I don't want to say pretty soon, but with how Tinker works, probably going to steal the 30-minute tome. And then this is just going to be a game that just gets rolling and never really stops. Almost has the Ethereal Blade too. But Roche is alive. Thing is, DogChamp can't really do it unless they want to pop Exo. Taliano Gangster, he's so close to level 18, but I guess they're just going to do it anyways. And yeah, they can kind of afford to do this. They have such great vision placed for 5ManMidas to run through that they might not even see this one coming. They're actually feeling like there's a smoke going on. And without scan, they could go for it, and they will see it, but look at that. Roche is dead.
Yep. And RCY, the amount of times that he can just pop a Shiva's Guard in the span of like 10 seconds is just unbelievably obnoxious. But they take Roshan, I believe. Did the Bloodseeker take the shard as well? Yeah, pretty sure he didn't buy that. So he's got the upgraded Blood Rage, and well, now you don't have Exo for this push. That's a little unfortunate, but if they just send everybody up to the top lane, it feels like 5ManMidas aren't going to want to mount any sort of defense.
Yeah, I just feel like now 5ManMidas is going to have to farm, which is sad to say because they were up until this point in a pretty dominant position. It's where I think even for feeling, he might need a basher before they take another convincing fight. They're just going to have to take this game kind of low and slow right now while they search for a Tinker answer, but I don't know, is the Tinker answer your Pango buying a Blink Dagger and a Hex? Is it him getting lucky with Feeling and Moonlight? I don't know. It's tough. There's a BKB on the Bear at least, but again, without a BKB on the Druid, their goal now is just to ignore the Bear. And of course, that's why you are getting a Butterfly up on that Bloodseeker. Then you're not going to have an MKB finished. It's where you have to turn your build around pretty much instantly. Otherwise, you're going to spend a good 5 minutes of this game where you just straight up can't hit Stonebank.
Okay, Argus is still holding the BKB on the Druid, not the Bear. That's a bit of an interesting one. I mean, he has been getting hit up immediately in a lot of these fights, but if he's caught between 2 or 3 heroes, I don't know that the BKB is going to be enough to save him. But well, we'll see if the risk pays off. Of course, if he is in a position where he has the time to, he could just transfer it to the Bear pretty quickly too. But while that's going down, yeah. They caught RRL. The Pango still really struggling to find his footing here. And now, Argus has got to make sure he gets out of here. The Bear has been slowed up. Argus is just going to actually go for the TP. His Bear's going to die in the meantime. But he's got to resummon, but it's a lot of gold that you give up there.
Yeah, and had the right idea, but maybe just not the correct execution, as Regen Rune bottled for the Tinker. So now he can just go wild in a team fight if he needs to. But does mean that he's not going to be able to bottle up in his own fountain.
Uh-oh.
Oh, top.
Argus?
He found the other Druid. Oh, and he missed the roar.
Can he damage him enough? Not before the true form comes out. So he does get that extra little bit of health, and RCY says, okay, the moment passed. Time is up. Time to get away, but 5ManMidas, the whole team just saw their life flash before their eyes there, because if you lose the lone Druid, you are going to be looking at some serious pushes onto your side of the map as Moonlight. Yeah, you need to leave too. Saw B9 for a moment, but with Destroyer in, they're going to try and be very careful about this. Lies, though, is pushing forward. At this point, though, this is not a good idea. He's now going to get ruptured up, and he's not going to finish his TP home. I don't really know what the plan was from the Wolf there. I mean, he saw RCY, but he keeps on chasing, and now RRL is going to get caught again. They'll take him down. Destroyer's going absolutely ham looking for these, but they caught him with a fear. Can they keep him locked down for enough? No, the BKB comes out. He's trying to get himself away from here. Actually, he's not. He's just fighting his way through this. They're going to take Argus down, and RCY, he does not fall. It's a 5-man wipe. He's going to just go right back to base to heal. And if you're 5ManMidas, listen, if you get that kill, that's perfect. That's fantastic. That slows up this push that would have been coming quite significantly, but without the kill, you just lost everything.
Yeah, just can't do it, and the region were doing so much work in that team fight, just didn't have to go back, you didn't have to worry about anything. And now, you put the BKB on the bear so the bear can hit, but other than that, the druid is not tanky enough to survive versus everything. There's at least going to be 2 melee racks, maybe the full set just easy, and then 5ManMidas are left scrambling for, again, a solution to the Tinker that simply will not exist. And all of that starts with, again, another tossback from Yarn's Tiny, who has just really turned this game around. It was such a slow start, just a miserable beginning for him, and then just becomes the hero they need to actually get the majority of these kills in this game. And now, Tinker, 25, finished the overwhelming blink. Without BKB, it is impossible to get in and out of these fights. Has a Hex queued up as well, so we are at Doomsday. They don't even have Exo, and they're hitting this tier 3 tower because they've got an Aegis for 20 more seconds. They've just hit their timing. And 5ManMidas, I don't know if there's much of this game left for them.
I mean, they've got to hit so many different heroes at once, and RRL in trouble. He's able to swashbuckle away, uses the curl up now as well. So he's not dead yet, but he is getting pushed back. In the meantime, Lies just got hit by the Rupture. He's going to look to TP home, but the bash comes through. They're going to cancel that TP. Lies already dead, and the rest of 5ManMidas are getting pushed back towards the fountain. Can they survive? They did just lose the Aegis up on Stonebank, so he's got to be a little bit careful. But Yaren, oh my god, Yaren just went in for the tossback play. I don't know if he got it, but it doesn't really matter. They still kill Feeling. They take down the bear. Argus now next on the chopping block. Drop down, taken out. It's just a mad dash into the fountain. The Stonebank is going to pad the stats. Can he get a rampage? No, he can't. He's going to die to the fountain, and the GG gets called. So no rampage today for Stonebank, but DogChamp get the win. The one that they desperately needed, because now their shot at an upper bracket slot is still technically alive.
Yeah, no, they keep going. RCY's keyboard isn't working. What an annoying Hero 25 voice line. But yeah, man just plays Tinker. Man works. And of course, not countered out. Funny thing would be if DogChamp decided to now first phase the Tinker come game 2, because, you know, that's the BS they pulled last time around they did this. But everybody's looking over at RCY and I'm just like, dude, really? You're going to do this? Come on. Is this the way things are going to be for DogChamp? Maybe. And it definitely feels, I think, very nice. But also, they had problems already coming this to the game. Of course, RCY was put in the position to just carry his team. But until that point, Stonebank was dying and had to die for 2 of those team fights to get carried by RCY. But also, you get Bloodseeker versus the Pango and the Lycan. It just feels like 5ManMidas maybe not thinking about that second phase set of bans nearly enough. I think simply they take that hero and then they put Stonebank in a much more awkward position. It's just too obvious. The choices for DogChamp were just simply too easy to make. And it's also where I think Yarn Tiny might need a respect ban at this point, because the man just operates. He just finally gets his Blink Dagger. Has a really rough early game, because usually it's at the cost of Italiana Gangster getting maybe a little bit more farm. But once he's online, and then he just starts outplaying you in way too many different ways. And even though I like the LD, Argus had a great start, it was just a great start. It wasn't enough for them to actually win or turn anything into, I think, enough momentum for the rest of the lineup to catch up, because, again, they got countered.
Yeah, once Argus realized as well that they were bypassing the bear and going straight for him, it felt like it was just over. He didn't really have the defensive means, and his teammates couldn't really save him either. So, unfortunate for 5ManMidas. Strong start, as you said, but they weren't able to follow through. So now their list of opportunities grows even shorter. Still need to get some points out of the day, but this first game not going to be successful. So we are going to be moving on to game number 2 in just a little bit here. But ET, before we do, we are coming up on that time once again. We'll swap on over, get the graphic on your screen, because it is time for a little bit of a shout out to our sponsor, BTS Pro Series 12 is sponsored by HyperX and the new HyperX Armada 25 FHD gaming monitor. And I can now say it's quite nice. The graphic is actually correct. We've been saying it's coming soon, really throughout the entirety of this group stage. Coming soon is gone. It is now actually available. The monitor has launched, so you can now actually get your hands on it. Oh, again, 24.5-inch display, comes with the desk mount, 240 hertz refresh rate, a 1 millisecond response time, NVIDIA G-Sync compatible. It's got all the bells and whistles. You can adjust its positioning however you want. So this is a relatively high-end monitor that HyperX are offering to you, and they're offering it to you at a bit of a discount here as well. You can use the code HXBTSArmada to get yourself up to 20% off MSRP. You can also click on the banner underneath the video player or check out the code being posted in chat to take advantage of that offer. So thank you very much to HyperX for offering both the discount and for sponsoring Pro Series, and we are going to be moving things along in just a few minutes. So when we come back, it will be the start of that Game 2 draft. We'll see if 5ManMidas can get that win finally, or if DogChamp have a clean 2-0 sweep in them. So stick around. We'll be back in a few minutes.